What is up, guys? We are here at CPAC with the one and only Naomi Wolf. Naomi, it is a pleasure and an honor to speak with you. Thank you very much for your time.
So
you just had a big book come out not too long ago.
Yes.
Can you tell us about the book and what readers can expect to find in the book?
Sure, thank you. It's called Facing the Beast,
Right.
Courage, Faith, and Resistance in a New Dark Age. And it's kind of a sequel to The Bodies of Others, which came out a few years ago, both of them during and about this lockdown and post-lockdown era, this pandemic and post-pandemic era. And Facing the Beast tells the story of how I was deplatformed for telling the truth about women being injured with this mRNA injection, and how I was ejected from my very comfortable life as a liberal media fixture in the global elite.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
for the last 2.5 years have been on a journey talking to and listening to conservatives and libertarians and learning that a lot of what I believed is not true. A climax of the book is a chapter called Dear Conservatives, I Apologize. And it also goes into the findings of the 3,250 doctors and scientists that we have at Daily Clout working on the Pfizer documents as volunteers, and the fact that they found the greatest crime against humanity in recorded history. So both of those themes are the center of the book.
It's incredible. And so I should say this is Dr. Naomi Wolf.
But not a medical doctor.
Not a medical doctor.
Right.
And so The Bodies of Others and the book that just came out, and then you also did the analysis of all of those vaccine documents.
Yes.
Yeah,
the
that
Pfizer
was
book. Yes.
Yeah. What is, I would say, that is a large, massive. I mean, this is something, for those who don't know, there's two things I wanted to bring up in this conversation with Naomi. One is this Pfizer didn't want these documents to come out for 75 years.
Right. Exactly.
And you led an effort with a group of other people, with volunteers, to find all these information, to go through all the Pfizer documents. Can you talk a little bit about that? What that was like?
Sure. Well, I really want to credit Aaron Siri, the lawyer who had a successful lawsuit against the Food and Drug Administration. They were the custodians of these documents, even though they're Pfizer's internal documents. And the FDA, our own government, asked the court to keep them hidden for 75 years. Shocking. And now we know why they wanted to keep them hidden until we were all not on the planet anymore. The documents are so voluminous. There's 450,000 of them.
Wow.
And they're written in very technical language. So I worried as a journalist that they would be lost to history because no one can read through all that or translate it. And so we put out a call. Actually, Steve Bannon prompted me to do it, which is one of the great ironies in history. That,
a former Democrat, right?
Yeah, exactly. But God bless him, because that was the right thing to do. And so we got these 3,250 experts to volunteer for the sake of humanity to read through these documents. This amazing, my COO, Amy Kelly, who's a genius project manager, organized them into 6 working groups, and they've produced 94 reports, and that's what's in the book that you're referring to. It's called Pfizer documents, and you can get it on Amazon or on our website at Daily Clout. And it does detail, when I say the greatest crime against humanity, it's so shocking. Pfizer knew, I could go on for hours, but
yes,
Pfizer
absolutely.
knew that the injection would cause strokes and, heart damage, blood clots, lung clots, leg clots, brain damage, neurological problems, Alzheimer's, dementias, cancers. They specifically knew and focused on sterilization through this injection.
Wow.
And they knew that they were destroying the menstrual cycles of women of all ages. They have charts showing thousands, tens of thousands of women being destroyed reproductively, in their trials. Now scale that to, 2 billion women around the world who've taken this injection at least. And so much of the Pfizer documents are focused on experimenting with reproduction, which is creepy, right? Because COVID is a respiratory virus.
A pharmaceutical company couldn't be that, corrupt, or couldn't be that evil, right?
Well, so in Facing the Beast, I share my findings. My original research found that actually the Pfizer injection is manufactured in an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with China, the Chinese Communist Party, our worst enemy that want us dead, and that China has the IP. China produced 1 billion doses, not for use in China, but for export. China opened 14 manufacturing plants in Western Europe and 11 in the United States now, and they're distributing this. So it's a bioweapon. There's nothing else to conclude. Pfizer and China knew that it would sterilize people, it would injure people, it would kill people, and 1 million Americans every month are identifying as newly disabled now, and we have lost 13 to 20% of live births. We've dropped 13 to 20% of live births. And we now know why, because of our volunteers. This material traverses every membrane in the human body, including the placenta. It blocks the ovaries, it degrades the membrane around the testes, so it degrades masculinity in unborn babies, right? And male fertility. It degrades sperm motility. It degrades, it injures. They knew they were injuring babies in utero. They knew that they were killing babies in utero. And in fact, in Pfizer's words, 2 babies that died in utero died due to quote unquote maternal exposure to the vaccine. And there's one section, the Pfizer documents, where over 80% of the women who were in the study lost their babies. Over 80%.
That's tragic.
But scale it with all the women who've taken this.
Have you ever reached out to any of these women, or it's hard to know who they are, right?
They're not
anonymous?
identified. They're anonymized. But it's more important, I think. We'll never know who they are, right? But they may not know who they are because Pfizer, seems to have been very happy to experiment illegally on people.
Yeah.
But we need to warn everyone in the world, and we've been effective because Pfizer is back to pre-2016 revenue levels, and only 4% of people have taken the booster. But it's terrifying, and now we have to find cures, right, from a medical establishment that's thoroughly corrupted. I'm so sorry, I have to wrap it up.
Of course, absolutely. My only last question was going to be, what is next for Naomi Wolf?
What is next for a nap? No, I'm kidding. Well, we have another volume coming out in April called The Pfizer Papers, and that will bring people up to date. Both those books will show the full scale of the crimes. And now I'm working on an election integrity bill, which has been drafted.
Yes, I saw that.
And I'm going state house to state house. And we've got 2 co-sponsors in Wyoming, where I just visited, and Democrats in Maine just killed the bill yesterday. But we're going to keep pushing because I think people need to see who is willing to keep their vote from being counted and who isn't. And we're going to pass this in all 50 states.
We'll be praying for you, Dr. Wolf. Thank you so much for your time. It is such an honor to meet with you and talk with you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.